Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Leslie, and today I'm going to be doing a highly requested story time slash rant on my first year dormant in college, aka my roommate horror stories. I call them horror stories because I just feel like nobody should ever go through what I went through, but it wasn't like that bad. Like, I'm sort of exaggerating, but at the same time, like, I feel like what I went through could have been easily avoided if I did like certain things. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys a little story, or tell you guys about my sort of how things went my first year dormant in college. And also I'm going to be providing little tips at the end so that you don't have any horror stories of your own, hopefully. So yeah, hope you enjoy. And yeah, here is my horror stories.
I just want to say before this video officially starts that this video was actually 43 minutes long. So I had to cut it down and just put in like the more important stories, like the ones that were actually more interesting, and I cut it down more. So sorry if it's like really confusing within the story part. I just had to cut a lot out. So enjoy.
Okay, first off, I want to say I got extremely lucky when it comes to my roommate, like the person that I shared an actual room with. I got super lucky because she was actually really nice, really neat, really just a good person overall, and like she was a very like good person that you would want a room with. You know, I think we said to each other, like, we really got lucky that we're both kind of like clean, not messy, not too loud and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse. And if you see me looking over here, it's because I have like notes, because I don't want to get off subject, because I tend to do that a lot. But yeah, so I got lucky with the person that I shared a room with. However, my housemates, the people who I shared like a common space with, I did not get too lucky because I ended up rooming with RAs. If you don't know what RAs are, they're basically like room assistants. I don't even know if that's like the correct acronym for it, but they were RAs. They're basically like the people who, if you're having trouble in your building, you go to them, or like you're having problems with like another person, you go to them, just stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, I didn't get too lucky with my housemates, but I did get lucky with my roommate. We'll call my roommate C and the housemates A and M. So the way our dorm was set up, it was apartment style. So it was like 2 rooms and 2 girls in each room, so 4 people to a house basically. So the people that I shared a house with did not get too lucky with. I mostly had problems with my housemate A. I'm not gonna say any like real names. Not that I think any of them are watching this, but just because I think, I don't know, I just shouldn't say any names. But I had more problems with my housemate A than I did M. M mostly had problems with being considerate. Like, she would be noisy, she would invite people over and like not tell anybody and just be loud. It was kind of disrespectful, but at the same time, like, she wasn't like super bad, is what I'm trying to say. So the lighting is weird. Okay, fixed whatever I was going through. But yeah, I didn't have much problems with M more than I did with A. So my main issues with A were the following. I'm going to be reading off the little notes that I have, because if I don't, I'm gonna get so off topic and I'm just gonna really derail this whole video. So I just want to let you know that that's why I'm looking over here.
How disrespectful. Don't they know I'm filming a video? Hello?
But anyways, yeah, I have all the stuff here, so just ignore or try and look over the fact that I'm looking over here constantly. So the first thing I want to say is, for some reason off the bat, me and my roommate wanted to sort of make like a house group chat, so that, you know, maybe like when we did have guests over, when we like hung out in the common area, we could tell each other like, hey, I'm gonna have my friend over later, just wanted to let you guys know. Or, hey, is it okay if I have, like, I don't know, just we wanted to have a group chat so that we all kept in touch and we're all on the same page a lot of the times. But the housemate A, I'm gonna just call her A, I'm not gonna say housemate A every time, but she was so like against giving us her number. Like, she did not want to give us her number. She basically said like, oh, do you guys have this app? I don't know, I don't remember which app it was, but it was an app where you could text each other basically. And I was kind of like, well, why don't you just give us your number? Like, I'm not gonna freaking do anything bad with your number. Like, why can't you just give us your number? But I didn't say that. I was just a little skeptical, like, why can't you just give me your number? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna try and like freaking text you random times of the day. We just want your number so that we all are on the same wavelength about like what goes on in the house, so that we don't have to have constant meetings and stuff. But she was very like against she was very against us getting her number, and she wanted us to download an app to text her, and she didn't even follow through with that. Like, she was just, oh, do you have this app, we can text you there, and never like said anything again. Like, okay. Oh, and also I forgot to mention, the RAs were much older than us. They were like 20, 21, basically. Yeah, they're like 20, 21. We were like 18, 19. So yeah, that was weird. And then she was also very standoffish and rude. Like, the way she talked, like, she talked as if like she didn't want to be bothered with talking to us. Like, let's say like you asked her a question or something, she would be very like, yeah, or whatever, like, okay. Like, she was very like just acting like she didn't want to talk, and that's the vibe she gave off literally all the time. Whenever I saw her or whenever we saw each other, she wouldn't say hi, she wouldn't like look at me or acknowledge me. She would literally just let me like walk by or like whatever. Like, sometimes I'll be like, oh hey, she like, bitch, I'm trying to say hi to you, like, don't act like that, period. Okay, so my first main issue with her was her hair. She had very long light brown hair that she later dyed like black for some reason. And the rest of us in the house had like I don't know if you could tell, but my hair's like low-key red right now. It used to be dark brown, but it's like kind of red right now. I need to re-dye it, but yeah, it's kind of red, whatever. My other roommate, I mean, not my other roommate, my roommate had like sort of black, dark brown hair, and then my housemate M had dark black hair. If you saw somebody's hair in the sink, you could tell if it was either A's hair or my hair or my roommate and M's hair. One of my big issues with her was her hair. When she would brush her hair, it would all fall on the sink. And the way our sink was set up was there was two sinks, and it was a big mirror in front of the two sinks. So that was basically where you could brush your hair, brush your teeth, do your makeup, you know, whatever you wanted to do in front of that big mirror. She used to stand in the middle so that if you wanted to wash your hands, you would have to sort of be like, excuse me, and you know, or excuse me. She would never stay to one side. She would always stay in the middle and then like put all her stuff on the sink. Like girl, like, this is not just your sink. But whatever. So she would brush her hair and it would all fall onto the sink, and a normal person would think, oh, all my hair's on the sink, let me pick it up. No, no, no. She would brush her hair, let it all fall out on the sink, and then leave. Like, she did not give a single fuck that there was literally enough hair to build another person on the sink. It was so gross, and I just could not stand it. Like, sometimes I would see the hair and get so mad, but I wouldn't know what to do because I don't want to clean it up because that's not my responsibility. But also, like, if I wash my hands, it would all go down the sink, and if it did that, it would freaking clog the sink. So I would try my hardest not to get it wet or like touch it or anything, but it was just so gross to see, and I did not like it.
Also, not to mention, she would leave her hair extensions literally everywhere and anywhere she wanted to. And it was so disgusting because most of it would get onto my side of the cabinet. And it was just so gross to see. Mm.
Also, to mention, you know how I said she would brush her hair and leave it on the sink? Her hair would also be on the shower walls a lot, on the shower walls and on the shower floor. It's like, it would be so disgusting to the point where one time I was like, I'm not taking a shower because it was just so. I took a little bird bath, gave myself a little cleanse, and went about my day because I was like, I'm not showering in here. And when you refuse to clean up after yourself, like, if you're gonna wash your hair and do all this stuff and leave your hair everywhere, that's disgusting. Like, the least you could do is freaking puddle some water in your hand and throw it on the wall so that it all falls down the drain. Like, that's the common thing you could do. But she refused to do that. Like, why couldn't you just do that? It just didn't make sense to me, and it would bother me because wet hair really bothers me, especially when it's not my own. I hate the feeling of wet hair on my body. Like, it's just so gross to me. And then the fact that it was her wet hair on the shower walls, I was so scared that it would get on me because the showers were also very narrow too. So I was scared that like I would accidentally graze against the wall and her hair would get on me. That is so disgusting. Like, it was just so disgusting to see. So that day I did not take a shower. I was like, she needs to clean up her shit. So the next day, it's still there, and I need to take a shower because I already didn't take a shower the day before. So I was like, I'll just take a shower. So I took a shower, but I refused to take any of that hair down because it was so gross. I was like, this is not my responsibility. This is not my hair. She needs to come and take this with her, you know, like it. And I know you're probably like, oh, Leslie, you're exaggerating, like it couldn't have been that much hair. If I find the pictures, I will show you how much hair she put on the sink and how much hair she put on the shower. It was enough to like spell out my name with it, and my name is long. Well, not Leslie, but my first name is long. So yeah, that was another thing that really bothered me. Another thing she did, well, both of them, A and M did, was leave the water on. And by that, I mean they would leave the shower on and the sink on. And the sink thing only happened once. She left it on, and I was there, and like she just left it on and left.
And I was like, what the heck? And
I was like, I guess she's gonna come back. But like a couple minutes passed, she did not come back. And I was like, does she want me to turn this off or what? But I didn't turn it off because, like I said, these are grown women. That is not my responsibility. So I went back into my room, and then I hear later, she's like, oh, I forgot to turn the water off. How do you do that? How do you forget to turn the water off? That doesn't make sense. Like, that should be like a natural habit. You go wash your hands or wash your face, and as soon as you're done, you turn it off. Like, that doesn't make sense. It just does not make sense. Then another time, I think it was during, it was either during break or during the weekend when I wasn't at the dorms, because I would go home during the weekends. And my roommate texted me a video. I'll insert here. But she was like, they left the shower on. And I was like, are you serious? Like, what the like, that's happened before. And they're like, they didn't turn it off. Like, they just left. Nobody's here. Like, they just left the shower on. And I'm like, wow. Like, how forgetful can you be to that you get in and get out and don't even turn off the shower? I've never heard or seen anybody do that. That's beyond me. You know, like, I've never heard of that. Maybe it happens, but that was just, what? The next thing she did, which this is probably where the horror story part comes in, because this is something that still makes me mad to this day, and I am just so, I don't know, like, that, just thinking about this makes me feel like what the fuck is your problem, you know? Like, I just feel like nobody should ever have to go through something like this. And yeah, housemate A, stole from me and my roommate relentlessly. She would do it so much to the point where when we assumed, or when we saw something was missing, we were like, oh, it was her again. Like, let's check her stuff. And lo and behold, or I don't know how that phrase goes, but it would fucking be there with her stuff. So one time, the biggest story that I have about her stealing is, I like to call it the chicken story, because I remember one time I remember this story so well. Like, every detail. I remember I was wearing gray sweats and a pink sweater. But yeah, it's called the chicken story, and here's why. One time I come home and from biology class, and that's like my latest class. Like, I think I get home from that class is like 4 or 5. So I come home from that class, and I have to walk from class to dorm, from dorm to class. So I was walking from class to the dorms, and I was like, I'm so hungry, like, I need to eat something, because I guess I didn't eat that day. So I'm like, let's make fries and chicken nuggets. It's something simple, something that'll, you know, fill me up. Let's eat, you know. And at this time, I was sort of like trying to be vegan, so they were plant-based chicken nuggets and just regular fries. So I'm looking for this specific pan. I was looking for this pan, this little square, I'm sorry it's so bright, but this little square pan, and I couldn't find it anywhere. I was so just like, I was so confused, because I was like, I'm sorry, I keep burping, but I was like, I haven't used this pan in what feels like weeks. So I don't know where it could be. I don't know where it should be. Like, what's going on? So I looked in the sink, was not there. I looked where I would put my dishes to dry, was not there. I went to look in my room just in case I accidentally left it there, was not there. I looked in the place where I keep all of my dishes, was not there. I looked in my food cabinet, was not there. I looked in my roommate's cabinet, because ours was like right next to each other, so I was like, maybe I pushed it over or something. It was not there. I looked back in my room again, it was not there. I even looked where I kept my like body washes and stuff, like the cabinet that's near the bathroom. Looked in there, was not there. So I was like, what the fuck? How did I lose a pan? And this wasn't even my pan. It was my mom's pan that she gave to me when I moved in. So I was like, fuck, like, how did I lose this pan? So I'm like, you know what? I'll find it. whatever day that is, I'll find it. So I get another pan. So I put all the stuff on the pan, you know. And beforehand I preheat the oven. When I open the oven to put my food in, guess what I see sitting in the oven? Guess what I see? Take a guess. Take a wild guess. I'll let you guess, because it's probably too hard for you to figure out now, but I'll let you guess. My fucking pan! My fucking square pan was in the oven. It was just sitting there with a nasty ass paper towel over it. And thank God I saw it, because if I didn't, and I just left it in the oven, that paper towel probably would have burnt up and messed up my pan. My fucking pan was sitting there in the oven, and I was looking for it for like the past 15 minutes. Like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, why is my pan in here? Like, I didn't put it in here. Like I said, I haven't used it in what feels like weeks. And the last time I remember, I put it away in my cabinet where I keep my dishes. I didn't leave it out or anything. I put it away. So I took it out, and when I took it out, I thought it would be empty, because maybe I did leave it in there. Maybe, silly me, left it in the oven. Bitch, no. I took it out. That shit was heavy. I was like, what is in here? Mind you, at the time, I was trying to be vegan, right? So I take off the paper towel from my pan, and it's this big old chicken wing just sitting there, like one of those, I'll put a picture of a example or whatever, but one of those like chicken wings where like it has the, I don't know how to describe it, but a fucking chicken wing. I said a chicken wing, oh my gosh, a chicken wing. But a fucking chicken wing was sitting there in my pan, sitting in a pool of grease with what looked like mold on it. I was motherfucking hot. I was so mad. I was taken aback, because I was like, I wouldn't make this, because one, I never made like actual chicken, because like I said, I was trying to be vegan, and I was also too lazy to like make actual meals. So I think I've only made chicken at the dorm like once, and it was way before this. But I was like, what the fuck, whose chicken is this? So I was so mad. I assumed it was housemate A. So I was like, you know what, fuck her. So I left it there on the oven. I put my food in the oven, and I wrote on a post-it. I was like, don't know whose chicken this is, but this is my pan, so please take your chicken out and wash my pan. I put something like that on the note, and I left it on the thing, and I was like, whoever comes home next will see the thing, and if it's theirs, they will claim it and go about their day, and I'll be in my room while I wait for my food. So I go in my room, and I'm so mad that I call my mom. Like, I literally called my mom, and I was like, guess what the fuck just happened? I'm so mad. Like, oh my gosh. I was so mad. Let me calm down. But yeah, I was just so heated and just distraught that I called my mom, told her all about it. The next day when I wake up, it's still sitting there. The chicken is still in my pan. Nobody moved the note. Nobody moved the paper towel. Nobody took the chicken out and fucking claimed my pan. It's still sitting there. And everybody came home at this point. Everybody had to have seen that. So I was confused as to why I was still here. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to fucking wait anymore, because the more I wait, the nastier this is going to get. So I use that paper towel. I pick up the chicken, put it on one of my plates. It was a paper plate, but still, one of my plates. I clean my pan, and I'm just so mad that I had to clean my pan when I didn't make this mess. Like, first of all, who the fuck is using my stuff? Like, why are you using my stuff for your things? Like, I don't get along with any of the housemates. Well, I got along with them, but I was not that cool to where they could just use my stuff without asking me. The only person who could do something like that is my roommate. But she would most likely tell me, because we're always on the same wavelength of borrowing each other's stuff. So she would have been told me, oh, I'm using your pan for this. Oh, that's my pan with the chicken in it. Oh, this, oh, that, you know? But none of these grown-ass bitches who leave liquor in the trash can own up to the fact that they use my pan for their nasty ass chicken. And here's my theory, that one of them made chicken and left it in the oven and then just forgot about it. Because I feel like if I would have never opened the oven that day, it would have been sitting in there, like straight up chilling in there, growing mold. Oh my god, I'm just so mad all over again. So yeah, that's how the story went. I ended up having to clean my own pan. Don't remember what happened to the chicken. All I remember is that it was gone the next day, where somebody took the plate and all. So don't know what happened to it, but all I know is she used my stuff to cook her meals and never put it back or clean it, like a dirty bitch. Okay, now I'm gonna give tips to have a very successful dormant experience, and so that you don't have to go through what I went through. I'm gonna go through this very fast, and I'll explain a little bit, but we're gonna go through the tips right now. Okay, so tip number one, try and get in touch with your roommates before you move in. So, like with me, when I found out who my roommates were, my roommate left her Instagram in her little bio thing. So I immediately hit her up. I immediately let her know, like, hey, I'm your roommate, da 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 da. And I think you should do the same because it'll help you, like, under or like see who that person is before you actually move in. You know, maybe you could talk to them, get acquainted, whatever. Next is when you move in, automatically take pictures of anything that seems broken, damaged, or misplaced or whatever. Because what you like, let's say your light doesn't work. Take a picture or video of that light not working and then report it to maintenance. And when maintenance comes and be like, oh, well, how do we know you didn't break this light? Show them like, oh, like this light was broken when I got here. Because one thing you don't want to do is wait too long, and then when you're moving out and they're like checking the dorms and stuff, they're like, oh, this person broke the light, so we're going to charge them for it. You know what I mean? So just always make sure you take record of things that were already broken when you got there, already misplaced, already damaged when you got there, you know? Because at the end of the year, it will be in your billing or whatever, and you do not want that on your billing because it'll probably be fucking expensive. But another tip is put things on your walls because it'll probably help you feel more at home. Put up pictures, posters, or if you have it, just things to make it feel like you're back home. Especially if you're going out of state, I feel like you should always try and make your living space look how it did when you were back home, or just make it feel more you rather than you're like dorming. Another thing is always check with your roommates before you bring people over. Like if you have guests over, if you're bringing your boyfriend over, just make sure you always check in with your roommate, the person you share a room with, and maybe people in the house if you're gonna have like them in the common area. Because one thing me and my roommate always did, we always told each other when we were having guests over. Like I remember one time my roommate's male friend was over, and she texted me like, oh, let me know when you're on your way home because I have a guest over and like we're gonna leave when you come. And I was like, oh, you don't have to leave, like I go somewhere, you know, like you could stay there. And she was like, no, we're gonna leave. And I was like, okay. So I let her know when I was on the way, and they were gonna leave when I got there. So you know, we had that communication. Like when I had a male friend over, now ex I actually got that out. When I had a male friend over, I would let her know like my man is coming over, you know, I hope that's okay with you. Or if she wasn't home when he came, I'd be like, brought my boyfriend over, I hope you're okay with that. He'll leave like before you even get home, like don't worry, blah blah blah. So just always let people know before you just bring random guests over. It's just a polite thing to do so that, you know, they just know that people are in their house. Next thing, I think this is a personal like opinion, but I think
Cleaning schedules suck. Like,
I don't think you should have like,
okay, Kathy is gonna clean the bathroom Monday, Martha's gonna clean the rest of the kitchen Tuesday, someone's gonna...
No, just clean up after yourself. But when it comes to things like the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom, just have a designated day like Sunday and you all just clean, you know? Like that makes more sense than everybody just cleaning things that they like. When it comes to dishes, wash your own dishes. Don't just leave it in the sink for someone else to do. Nobody's supposed to clean after you. Like clean your own dishes, you know what I mean? But when it comes to things like cleaning the kitchen, sweeping, maybe dusting, cleaning the bathroom, just make sure you all take part in that and have a designated day for it. That seems much easier than just a fucking schedule and having to clean by yourself. And cleaning with other people is more fun. You could like play music, whatever. I wish I did this and insinuated this. I feel like it would have been more fun and more of a roommate bonding experience, but I didn't. Another thing is headphones will save you, especially if you are someone that likes to stay up all night and watch like YouTube or Netflix. Headphones will really save you, especially like I said, if you watch YouTube, Netflix at night. You don't want to disturb your roommate, like maybe if they're sleeping. Like my roommate, she always told me like, oh, like it's like she's fine with noise, she can sleep through it. But I always put in my headphones, made sure like nothing was too loud so that I didn't wake her up, didn't disturb her. Just be considerate, have headphones, you know, whatever. Another thing, always be considerate of people's sleeping schedules. You never know, like even though those are your roommates and you probably know their schedule, but you never know. People might be in a sports club and have to wake up at the crack of dawn. People might have to be up late to study. Just always be considerate of people's sleep schedules. And if like almost everybody in the house is asleep, don't be like playing loud music and like listening to your show all loud. Like just be considerate that there are people sleeping or are people studying late at night and like maybe don't want to hear you listening to fucking Stranger Things at like 12 in the morning. You know what I mean? So just be considerate of people's sleep schedules. Another thing is, don't pack your whole house when you move, especially for my freshmen incoming college students. I know it's tempting to bring everything you own with you, but trust me, that shit is out, because I tried to do that, and when it took me like a whole week to pack up my dorm when it was time to leave, because I thought it would be okay to just bring my whole house. No, be wise when you pack your necessities, pack efficiently. Don't just throw everything in a box and think it's going to be okay. No, pack efficiently. Have a plan with what you want to pack. Maybe write down some lists of things you want to bring. I'll probably list below a little dorm checklist of things you should bring to the dorm, and also I'll leave all these tips down in the description below, like in a link or something, so that if you don't want to watch this video again, you could just refer to the list. So, you know, I am very nice like that. But yeah, just pack efficiently. Always remember that you do not need to bring your whole house with you, especially if you're going to be going out of state. Just don't do it. Extension cords. Trust me when I say this, you will need an extension cord, period. You will need extension cords. Were my best friend, because I remember the charger from that was closest to my bed was so far and my phone charger wasn't long enough. I just put an extension, like a little power strip, on my thing and hooked it up to the wall so that my phone could sit right next to my bed and I didn't have to compromise my phone usage. Hello, extension cords will be your best friend. Get a power strip, get some extension cords, especially the one that comes with a little with like things you could just put your phone cord straight in instead of having to have that huge like block. You could just put your little charger in and charge your phone. Slippers. Please bring slippers to the dorm, because those floors are nasty, and I know you're like, oh, but I mopped and I swept. Do not walk around the dorms barefoot. Please don't walk around the dorm barefoot, especially if you guys don't have rugs. It's best to do that, especially when you live with so many people, because now you are living with so many different immune systems. Like, people might get sick all the time while you don't, and you just don't want to be around all that. And especially with your bare feet on the ground, getting cold and stuff, just wear slippers. Sharing is caring, but also establish boundaries. So by this I mean, like, be open to share like your kitchen utensils, maybe some food, like snacks or whatever, but establish the fact that people need to ask before they just reach for your stuff. So like if somebody wants to use your pot, make sure they know that they need to ask you or text you to let you know, hey, I'm going to use your pot, or hey, can I use your pot so I can make this? And make sure they know that they need to clean your stuff when they're done, that it is not your responsibility to clean after messes that other people make. So if somebody were to use my pot, what they would need to do is ask me, hey, Leslie, could I use your pot to make whatever I'm making? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, just make sure you clean it after and put it back where you got it from, no problem. Or if I'm not there, text me a message, hey, is it okay if I use your pot? I'm gonna make blah blah blah. And yeah, and I'll text back, sure, fine, just make sure you wash it, put it back when you're done, see you when I get home. It's that easy. So always make sure people ask before they just take from you, and do the same thing. Don't be a fucking jerk and just take people's stuff, and you know, it's rude. Another thing, if something breaks, like the fridge, the table, the bed, the couch, the cabinet, do not fix it. Please don't fix it. Get a maintenance thingy or whatever. I don't know how your school will do it, but with my school, it's do a maintenance request, and when they come to fix it, they come to fix it. Do not fix it yourself, because even if you do fix it and you do it correctly, they will still charge you if you like tampered with anything. I don't know why, but they will. Also, keep things in your room whenever you can. So like, I know it's like you don't want to keep everything in your room because you don't want everything to be cluttered, but whenever you can, keep it in your room. Keep your just keep everything in your room. Try to keep everything in your room. Don't think, oh, I have so much kitchen cabinets, let me put everything everywhere. No, try and keep everything with you, because like I just told you a story about, people are thieves, people are liars, people will take your stuff and not give a fuck. People will take your stuff and help you look for it. Like, that's how terrible people are. So just try and keep stuff within your person at all times. I understand, like, if you want to keep big pots in like the kitchen and stuff, that's fine. But like when it comes to like just things that can easily be taken, and especially if you're not aware, just keep it in your room. You know, like, try and keep everything in your room. Don't just leave everything everywhere, because like I said, people can be real assholes. Another thing is, do not be loud after 10 p.m. That's just common courtesy. Oh my gosh, this is one thing I wish I stuck to as a tip, but don't spend the whole day in your dorm, period. Go out, go walk around the campus, go get a bite to eat, go get some soup, go maybe find a chill place to study, maybe go sit in the, well, not, don't sit in the grass, but like get a blanket, sit in the grass, enjoy nature, just get out of the dorm. Because what I noticed, when you just stay in the dorm 24/7, you start to get lonely. Even if like your roommate is in the room with you, it still kind of feels lonely just sitting there not doing anything. So, you know, get out the dorm once in a while, go socialize, go do a study group, go hit up some friends. Maybe if you have a car, you could go drive around, get some ice cream, I don't know. But just don't stay in the dorm. And if you do, you know, don't sit there and let the darkness succumb you. Open your windows, open the blinds, open your door, let some fresh air in. Just don't feel like you have to stay in your dorm all the time. Another thing is, get into the habit of cleaning your room at least twice a week. I know that sounds like a lot, like, bitch, I don't even clean my room twice a week. But trust me, it's going to help, because when everything starts to pile up and clutter and you finally get to that one big mess, it's so annoying. So just get in the habit of like organizing one day and like cleaning your bed every day, and just making sure that you're just not sitting in a pile of mess every day. If you're not on top of your shit, the shit gets on top of you. Lastly, no, not my last one. Second to last is always call your parents. Call your parents, tell them you love them, say thanks for supporting me in college. And even if they're not supporting you in college, text them like, hey, thanks for doing everything you could for me. Let them know you love them, you know, because in college, like I said, it does get lonely. But not only that, your parents do feel like, oh, my baby's growing up, you know. And it's something that I realized when I moved, because I'm an only child. So when I left, that was it. But so I always like made sure I told my mom I loved her. I always texted my dad like, love you, thanks for supporting me in college. You know, I always texted them good night, always texted them good morning. Just little things so that your parents feel appreciated, you know. And also it makes you feel like you're not 100% alone in college. You still feel that support system, even with the little text message. Lastly, keep your dorm key on you at all times. Even if you have to get a special little holder to keep your cards in, do it. Get a little keychain, keep your stuff in there, do it all. Because trust me, it is so annoying when people forget their card key, not car key, but card key, and the roommate has to go wherever and get it. Especially because my best friend, her dorming is like completely different from mine. She dorms in like a whole building, while I have like different buildings, you know, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. But my best friend would always say it's so annoying when people forget their keys, because she would have to come all the way downstairs to open it for them and go all the way back upstairs. With me, it was just getting out of bed, going to open the door. But it's still always kind of annoying, and it just shows that like you're being responsible and having your card key, unless you establish with someone, sort of like what my roommate did. Is she's like, sometimes I don't bring my key like when I leave and don't come back, which I was okay with opening the door for her, because I don't know, I was just okay with it. So yeah, just always have your dorm key on you. And yeah, and always remember, always remember, people are going to be people at the end of the day. They can be assholes, they can be rude, they can be selfish, they can be disgusting, they can be liars, they can be thieves. You cannot change nor control the way people act and behave, but you can control how you react to it. So just remember, you are the only one in charge of your college experience. You are the only one in charge of your dormant experience. So just try and make the most of it. Always be efficient with your time and your space, and just live life. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the story time. I hope you thought the tips were helpful. I will try and remember to link everything in the description and everything like that. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something. I hope you laughed a little. Yeah, if you liked the video, give it a like. Maybe subscribe if you want. The choice is yours. I'm leaving. Peace. Also, another thing, if you have any other questions or want to know anything else about dorming
or college tips in general, because I plan on making a college tips video soon. So yeah, let me know.
Comment down below. Let me know. Maybe you have your own tips that you would like to let out into the world. That's a-okay. Comment them down below. Comment anything down below. Tell me about your day. How's your day been going? Tell me about I don't know, tell me your major. What the fuck is up? Bye.